This video is going to show you a trick how you can actually have two messages into the same map. And this is just this is not using our purchase order example. This is using a property schema demo, which I had done earlier. And I created a new orchestration. I created a new orchestration here called demo2map-inputs.odx. And I'm going to use schema and new schema. So I received two different records. I'm not even going to finish this whole orchestration. I just want to show you the main point here. And so I have two messages, and now I want to map both of those messages to perhaps a third message. So I need to go create a third message. I'll do that off the video. Okay, so off of the video I created another schema called schema employee update, and that's what we're going to be building from two other schemas. And so we have new employee, which just has some very basic information, and then we have schema employee, which has a little bit more information. And what we want to do is merge these two together, basically. So in our orchestration, again, I'm not going to fully code this, but I've created three messages, our two inputs and our one output, and I've tied them to the appropriate schemas. So right here I want to construct a message called message out. Okay, and then inside this I want to add a transform shape, which is a map. I click on it, and we're going to give it the map name. Map two schemas to one schema. So this is the first time we've actually seen this demonstrated. So my sources here, I'm going to pick more than one source. And by the way, you cannot do this using the regular mapping utility. You can only do it when you're inside of an orchestration. So this only works inside orchestrations. So we have here either one of the two inputs, and then our destination will be message out. Okay. Now when I click enter here, or click the OK button, it's going to build the normal type of, almost the normal type of map. But notice on the left we have this fake thing here called root, and then under that it's broken our message into part 0 and part 1. And that's pretty cool. So now we have employee and new employee. And if we expand those, you can see now that we have two messages, and we can actually map from either one. So like I could take the tax ID from the second record and maybe the first name from the second record, but then I want his spouse name and address, city, state, zip from the first schema. Now, the only trick when you're doing this is that if you want to test your map, like we've learned in prior lessons, if you want to do here right-click test map, you're going to have to build a special message that doesn't exactly exist in the real world. So you're actually going to have to generate a sample data file that has an element called root, and then it's going to have an element called input message part 0 and an element called employee with this namespace. Then you can actually test this kind of map. So I just wanted to show you that this is possible, and what it basically saves you from having to do is, in the past, if you didn't know about this trick, what you would do here is you would map, for instance, schema 1 to the output schema, and then you would add a message assignment shape, and then you would have to use either XPath, promoted fields, or distinguished fields to map all the items from the second schema. But by knowing this trick, you can now just have one map here and have two inputs, one output, and then again it builds this kind of unique format here, and then you can actually map more than one on the left to one on the right. So that concludes this demo on how to have multiple inputs to a map.